Hey, what's up, man? Sorry for the delay, man. I'm in the studio, man. It's like it's all. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I mean, it's a. Oh, I've been here for 2 days, bro.
Oh man,
So
you've been doing all that, huh? I've been
yeah,
there.
man.
Been
So
there.
yeah, I'm trying to do everything at one time, bro. I got this project coming out,
Right.
so
You know, we in and out, man. I know you got things to do, but first of all, I want to say it's an honor to get you on here, man.
I know
You
we've
know,
been trying for a minute, man. It's like I just been all over the place, man. You
yeah,
know, so
yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Thank you for coming on and everything.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Baddest R&B, but not just R&B, man. Y'all got gospel in there, rock, hip hop. That was
Right.
the baddest group on the block. You
Right.
know,
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
all that music, man. I was just like, when y'all first came out, I was just like, the thing about it was when you guys came out, I've been doing radio right here for this company for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same job. So, I have the evolution of music. And I always had this thing about when siblings harmonize together, I could always tell that. And it was funny because when y'all first came out, I thought you were all brothers because you was,
Right.
it was so tight.
Yeah, well, I mean, we basically are real brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We grew up, so we basically like, you know what I'm saying? We know each other. Like we spend like more time with each other than we spent not with each other. So I guess you could say we are real brothers in that sense.
Right. And it was just incredible. I know Forever My Lady wasn't the first one. It was Good Love, right? You guys were shot.
Gotta love.
Gotta love,
Yeah,
right?
gotta love. Yeah.
Right. And then, so what happened with that first single? It wasn't trying to take off, and then all of a sudden, after Forever My Lady, it just went platinum.
Well, the thing was, we never wanted to be a ballad type of group. You know what I'm saying? We never wanted to be that. And we came from the South, and we came with the New Jack Swing era, so it was all about guy and just the dancing and to Teddy Riley's and I Likes and Groove Me. We wanted to be that. So, unfortunately, that wasn't what we were. Direction.
Okay. Yeah. So when you guys came together, all four of you,
Mm-hmm.
Casey Joso brothers, they were the singers, and then you and Devontae were brothers. How was that as a group? Because everybody was a singer, but I know you and Devontae were like the producers. So how do you get people all to stay in their lane? Because every time I have a group, there's always seemed to be a problem.
Right. Well, I think the thing was, even though we could all sing, everybody had their strong points. Everybody contributed. It's kind of like you look at a dynasty basketball team. Everybody can shoot the ball, but it don't mean everybody needs to have the ball in their hands when it's time to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? So, we got a point guard, we got a center, we got a small forward, we got a forward. We all played our position. It don't mean that everybody couldn't grab the ball and shoot it. So we understood that for this to work, we had to play everybody in their strongest points. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, man, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, you only can win as a team, and we understood that as a group. And I think a lot of groups just misunderstand that sometimes because everybody wants to be the front man. But if you do what you do at the best, everybody's going to win, so it doesn't matter. Everybody gets a ring at the end of the day, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I never really, it was never my thing. And people were like, oh, he just a cute boy in the group. He just this. I heard all of that, but it doesn't matter because I know without all four of us together, it wouldn't be no Jodeci. I knew that, so I didn't care if anybody else knew it or not. It really wasn't my thing to try to be out there like, hey, well, I do this and look at me. Without it wasn't ever that in our group. So I think it kept our egos in check for a long time. You know what I'm saying? So
No, that was longevity of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about what almost 3 decades into your music, and
Yeah.
it's still play, and people still request it on my show. Matter of fact, when the station was flipping at the time, they was coming to me, hey, we need to add some songs.
Right.
We're gonna switch to old school because I started with old school, came into the 90s boom bap. Now I'm back with the old school, but the station is crazy because I play Rick James Ghetto Life, and then Jodeci Talk to Me.
Right. And the crazy thing is, I think that people should really reconsider what they call old school. I think they should call our music and Rick James and other people like, oh, it's timeless music. It's not old, it's timeless. There's nothing about us that just only gets old. Because I could put on a Michael Jackson record today and it sounds like he made it last month. You can put on Purple Rain and you still enjoy it like you did 20, 30 years ago. So it's like, to me, it's like, that's not old. Something old is something you get rid of. You know, timeless to me is timeless. You can't get rid of it. It never goes away. And I think that we were blessed to be in that category along with some of our idols and some of the greats that, you know, I listen to still and had them respect us. And I call them timeless. I never call them old. I'm like, that's timeless.
I like that. I like
you know,
that.
so.
That's a good word for that one. I like that. Because think about it. Everybody that you probably looked up to as we was child was Prince and Mike.
Oh,
While
yeah.
I went to the station, I play a Mike song. Here come a Jodeci song.
Right, exactly. You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy because as a kid, these are all the people I looked up to, and I got a chance to meet every one of them individually, like on an intimate level, sit down and have a conversation with them, and just to see that they respected us as, you know, I was fanning out, and it was like, man, you know, yo guys, you guys, I'm not. That meant a lot to me, man. I was like, you guys have no idea. You guys have paved the way, and I always give them their respect. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Yeah, so. And I feel honored that even get a song played right behind Michael Jackson or somebody.
Yeah, right. I mean, we follow up. I mean, you have so many albums and so many platinums. It was like, what? You must have did about 5, 6 platinum every album. Had to be. Somewhere around that block.
Right. I lost count, man. I don't even know.
I know there got to be a few plaques up in that wall somewhere.
Yeah. My mom got all my plaques, actually, though. It's somewhere in her garage, man. Somewhere. I done moved so many times over the years. I just left them in her house, in a garage somewhere, but, you know. So.
Hey, you ever want me to show out on one of them, man? Send them over. I'll put that.
All right.
Hey, I'll take that 80. I'll put you right there, man. So here's a question I got for you, Doc, because this is relatable to me too. So me and one of my mans, you know, my best friend, we had got into it when we first like met each other, and we squabbed and everything and hate each other, but for some reason we just connected. Now I know I heard that story. I think it was Casey when he would pull a gun out on you or something. Y'all
he did, man. He did.
Okay.
This the actual detail of the story is going to be in our movie. I know everybody want to know about this movie, but it's going to be documented and it's going to come. So before you can get to that, the movie is going to be what it's going to be. It's going to come. So you can don't even ask that question. But yeah, I'll give you the quick quick version of it.
Yeah, sure, because it's just relatable to me, you know.
Right. Oh yeah.
Why?
So what happened was the girl group that actually put us together was called Unity. And, you know, my brother, and they got this, I've heard this story told so many times, and it's so mixed up now, so I'm going to tell you the actual story.
Okay.
It was a girl gospel group called Unity. They lived in North Carolina, and one of the girls was dating Casey. One of the girls was dating Devontae at the time. And they used to always mean the Haley brothers, y'all need to meet the Haley brothers, the Grace and the Haleys, y'all could be some magical. We had heard of the Haley singers, and they heard of the Greats. So it was like, they do a whole different type of music. They ain't our thing. No, y'all should meet. Y'all should meet. Y'all are, nah. So finally, one day they convinced us to meet these guys. And we like, okay. So we all went and met. And, of course, Casey and Devontae's girl walked me and Devontae into Casey and JoJo's house. And they was in there with a bunch of their cousins and whatever. And Casey jumps up thinking, I'm with this chick. But she just bringing him to introduce me to him. And it goes all bad, man. It goes all bad, you know. So, yeah, that was that. It was crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. He jumps up with a gun, and it is what it is.
I know you probably talked about it, but it was so relatable about me and my man. But he didn't put no gun. We just got in a big old fight.
Right.
We picked each other up, and we just said, hey, that's some good shit, man. And then we became
I don't think Casey wanted to fight me. I mean, I'm nice with mine, so I don't think he wanted that. But nah. Okay. That was his best option at the time. So that's what man. I love Katie there. You know,
he said he picked the best route for him.
That was his best option. That was his best option.
So y'all get together and you just move to New York and say, hey man, we just gonna roll up to Uptown and we're gonna try to do the thing. What was the experience of that coming with Virginia?
No, from Charlotte. At this time we had all been to North Carolina. We had all was raised in Charlotte. I left Virginia when I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. So I was just born in Virginia, but I was raised in North Carolina. So I kind of say North Carolina is kind of like my home. But me and Devontae was born in Hampton, Virginia, and Casey and JoJo was born in Baltimore, Maryland. So a lot of people don't know that. So we just all kind of grew up in North Carolina. So yeah.
You guys get together. You head to Uptown, New York. How was that whole transition? Tell me the story about
It was crazy, man, because I was young, man. I left home and I kind of ran away from home. My mom didn't even know I was gone. I called her from New York, like, hey, I'm in New York. She thought I was playing. But, yeah, I mean, we just, you know, we took Devontae had a vision, man, that we deserved to be on the same label as New Edition, which is MCA, you know. Bobby Brown, Guy was Uptown MCA. You had Heavy D and the Boys. So Uptown MCA seemed like a right fit for us because, you know, Guy was managed by Uptown. Albie Shore was managed by Uptown. You know, a lot of our idols were on that Uptown MCA kind of label. So we felt like that was the place for us to be. So it's the first place we went out, you know, to set out. You know, Devontae actually went to Minneapolis to try to get with Prince first. And Prince, you know, they rejected him. They sent him back home. So he was kind of like on a vendetta against Prince. He wanted to prove to Prince that he could make it. So that was the whole thing. So.
Hey, but you know Prince anyways, man. He's been firing jokers anyways. You know,
so
I remember if I got the story out, Raphael and then Tony. You know, Prince had asked him to be in the group, and I think Raphael told him, nah, man,
really?
If I got
it.
Right. They came, Prince approached Tony, and Raphael straight out told him, look, man, you are idol and everything, but you be firing people too much. If I'm not, that's an old school thing. If I'm not.
that sound about right.
Yeah, he be going through them.
I met Prince in Atlanta, man. You know, God so I love Prince to death, and so I was standing next to him, and I think I told the story a bunch of times, but this is my Prince experience. And I was in the club with T-Boz at the time. You know, he loved TLC, so he invited me and her to some after party he was having. So we was all upstairs in this VIP. And I was standing next to him. I had a bottle of champagne in my hand. I was feeling nice, and I was standing next to Prince. So I whispered in his ear. I said, hey, man. Let me remix. Let me put a hip-hop remix to all your Purple Rain classics. And so he never looked at me. He kept looking straight. So I'm thinking, like, you know, I'm feeling myself. And so he whispers to my ear. He said, get me a mudslide. I was like, excuse me? And so at the time, I didn't know what he was talking about. I'm like, so I asked T-Boz, I said, I mean, I almost got offended because I didn't know where he was going with that. You know, mudslide, I could have took it any kind of way. So I was like, what is a mudslide? She said, I think it's a drink. I was like, this nigga want me to go get him a drink? So I went and got him a mudslide, and it was, the conversation got a little bizarre after that, but you know, it was cool. We ended up laughing about it. And yeah, so. Okay,
that's nice. You said TLC. That was a question I was gonna, you know, try to get at. That song "Creep" wasn't about you though, right? We used to hear that.
Man.
Hey, we used to hear that at the radio because remember, I've been on the same station 30 years. I'm playing your song. I'm playing TLC song. There ain't really too much communication with phones and internet, so we used to just hear things. You know, I'd be like, oh, is that about? Someone told me that. I don't know if it was from the label.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Well, you know, I'll tell you like this. It's a lot. Well, ultimately, I found out that song was about me, and I had mixed feelings about it because at first I heard it wasn't about me. You know, from the horse's mouth. Then I heard it was about me through like an interview. I'm like, well, what is it? Is it not? Or is it? Well, ultimately, I found out the truth is it was about me. Well, that's fine. You know, no hard feelings. I get it. I get it. But every dog has his day. You know what I'm saying? There's three sides to every story. So, I mean, I'm just going to leave it at that. You know, so it is what it is. I took some heat. And I took some heat, man. And, you know, the heat had been hot on my back. And I stayed quiet through the whole thing. But, you know, It is what it is. It is what it is, man.
Hey, you know, people ask, I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah, I know. I see all these comments like, oh, you did T-Boz so bad. He did this. And I just been like, I have to keep my mouth shut. I don't say nothing. I just let it marinate. I don't say nothing. But I love her to death. That's my friend to the end of time, man. So we still speak all the time. And
when you think of a great moment in your career on tour, and I know, you know, I've seen you guys like maybe 3-4 times, and what would you say, what comes to your head, something that was, you know, that you remember well being on the road?
This is for me personally. I can't speak for the rest of the guys.
Yeah, I'm talking about you and me right now. I'm talking about you. Okay.
I remember we had a show in Japan, man. And, you know, my favorite artist of all time, I have a list, maybe a top 5. My number one artist of all time is James Brown. Love James Brown. Love James Brown. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to scream so my voice could be raspy and hoarse just like his. And I mean, I love James Brown. So we got a chance to do a show with him in Osaka, Japan. And you know, in Osaka, in Japan, I didn't know the custom was, you know, they don't clap, they didn't cheer, they just bow. Everybody bow when you finish. They sing every word of your song. They can't speak a lick of English, but they know your name. They scream your name. They sing all the words to your songs. But they after you finish, you know, you don't get applause. You just get like everybody you got 14,000 people just bowing their head. So they have like armed security walking up and down the aisles to keep everybody in order, I guess. So that's hard to perform like that. It's hard to perform to a crowd like that because I wasn't used to it. I'm used to, you know, people jumping on the stage and, you know, just the interaction with the crowd. So we had an interpret on stage, and we was up there sweating, just giving it our all. So on the show, let me go back a little bit. On the show was James Brown, Jodeci, and Mary J. Blige in Japan. And T-Boss and TLC was there. They were supposed to perform, but they didn't make it, so she just came to watch our show. So I went to the interpret on stage. I was like, hey, you tell these people, if they don't clap for us, I said, you know, a couple of curse words to her. You tell them we're going to leave the stage. We're not used to this. So whatever she said in Japanese, she said it, and like 2 seconds later, the whole crowd went crazy. They just, ah! So I run to the edge of the stage, and I dove off in the stage. And all the Japanese people caught me. They was tossing me around. And we killed it after the end. You know, security's trying to calm everybody down, but it was over. So I come off stage. I said, ain't no way James Brown can come behind that. There ain't no way. So he walks to me. He watched the whole show from the side. I didn't know he watched the whole show. He looked at me. He said, y'all boys is good, but let Daddy do his thing. We thought, yeah, all right. We went in the dressing room. And bear in mind, I'm in awe of this man already, but I'm just feeling like, oh, he got to watch us. You know what I'm saying? I'm all hyped. He got to see us. I've been watching him since I was a baby, and they got to see us. Man, when I tell you this guy got on stage and just I mean, wrecked this place. I mean, you just got chills, and you felt like you was witnessing something great. And I said, he's come so far from where we are even at this point. I mean, how he just commanded. He never spoke in English. He spoke in Japanese the whole time. And when he addressed the crowd, so you could tell he's been around the world and experienced, and he just commanded the stage like he was maybe 19 years old. And then this time he's like in his 60s. So, yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
That's
so yeah, so that was like my favorite. Like that was like probably my most amazing time. Like I've ever got to watch somebody, one of my idols, just have me just amazed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So you get let me see. I went from Uptown, involved with Puffy with that. How deep was Puffy with that? Because I want to get into how you guys, when you got into Death Row, but I'm trying to get the edit version of everything because I know you got things to do. So when you got with Uptown, how deep was Puffy with you guys involved?
He was very influential. You know, Puffy came in at a time, you know, he was an intern. He was young, and he was, you know, around the same age as us, and he had a lot of energy. You know, Uptown didn't really know what to do with us. They just knew we had something special, but they didn't really know what it was. Right. And, you know, Puff came in, and we started hanging with him every day because he was more of our age. We could hang with him. You know, I started going to clubs every night with him, and he gave me that whole East Coast vibe of how to move around and just, you know, the whole everything, the whole vibe. And he fought for us a lot. Even when God of Love came out, he's like, man, I'm with Jodeci. Let's just do it like this. And Andre told him, if this song don't hit, I'm gonna fire you. And of course it didn't hit, and he was ready to fire it at the time. He was like, if you fire him, we're leaving. So they didn't fire him, and he had a voice in everything that we did in the early days. You know, he had an opinion, and we valued his opinion. You know. Okay. And then he's a great visionary. Like people try to, Puff don't do this, he don't do that, but he's a great visionary, and that's sometimes all you need. You know, that's a talent within itself, and I always said that. You know.
Yeah. Also, I was remembering too something with, which one was it? Heads boy, was it G Wiz that had some involvement with you guys too?
Well, G Wiz was actually the one that discovered it. He heard us singing in the office. He went and got Heavy D, and a lot of people think it was straight to Heavy D, but I have to tell people no, it was G Wiz that actually knocked on the door and said, "Hey man, that's y'all." And then he went and got Heavy D, and Heavy D went and got Andre Rell. So it's actually trickled down from G Wiz.
Right.
One of Heavy D's dancers that people don't know who G Wiz is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So You get all these albums, Forever My Lady, and this just the list goes on and on. You know, Alone Is My Cut though. And you know which one I was on? Up in my room. When y'all did that with Dog Pound, I was going cuckoo.
Yeah. Come up to my room. Yeah, that was cool, you know.
Yeah, what was your experience with that, with the Dog Pound and all that?
Well, it goes back. It's a little deeper than just that. You know, Suge came to us, and we got really cool with Suge. He had just opened our eyes to a lot of things about the business and helped us make a couple of choices. And then me and Devontae started producing a lot for Death Row. You know what I'm saying? Suge never managed Jodeci or nothing. He just came in and helped us square away a lot of things that was, you know, that all artists go through that we're unaware of, as far as like, you know, just a lot of business things, and he helped us square it away. But me and Devontae continued our relationship with Suge as far as like, you know, producing with Death Row, working with Pac, and, you know, a couple artists on Death Row, Jewel, and a couple of soundtracks that Suge had. So that was just it.
Okay. And then was the transfer difficult? You know, because I remember you guys was doing that right in the middle of that whole Biggie Pac thing. Was there any, I mean, you guys pretty much stayed in your lane. I thought so, because I never heard anything. So when you transferred over, was there anything about that, you know, coming from the West Coast to East Coast? Was anybody, you know, anything about that interesting?
I mean, a lot of my peers on the East Coast, because I was really cool with everybody. I was cool with Biggie, Puff, you know, everybody on the East Coast. You know, Wu-Tang Clan, did a lot of work with them. But like I told like somebody, I won't say his name, but he asked me like, man, who you riding with, the West or the East Coast? I said, man, I'm from the South. That's so stupid to me. I don't do that. I'm from the South. I don't get in the middle of that. I mean, I got friends over here. You know, Puffy has had dinner at my parents' house, and so is Suge. You know, these are the people that's cool with my family. You know what I'm saying? They both been to my parents' church. So it's not this, and the whole East Coast, West Coast thing, when it was over, was so stupid. I wasn't getting involved. Man, I didn't get in the music to become a gangster. That's not my thing. You know, we make records, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the whole thing was retarded. It was ridiculous. And it's like, you know, we just didn't get involved. So, you know, people try to say, well, who's Jodeci? West Coast, East Coast, Death Row, or Uptown? It wasn't never that to us, you know. And I think everybody respected that because we stayed neutral in the whole thing. You know, at the Source Awards, we were presented the award to Biggie.
Right, I was going to ask you that. I mean, you did the award for Biggie, so
that was a weird situation. No, that was really weird, but I got it. That was weird. That was weird, but that was
yeah. I mean, when you walk on stage, you doing Biggie. That's when you Suge went off on everybody.
Come to Death Row. If you got problems dancing in your videos, yeah, come to Death Row.
I was like this. Oh.
Yeah, and we was backstage, and it was like, ah.
Man.
So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. You know. So,
well, I mean, even as a radio DJ, I never got caught up in that. Even when I've been doing interviews, I just want to talk about people, what they doing with their music and stuff. But things have changed now, you know. So those things stand out, and I want generations to know that listen to you guys, and listen to you, what the backstories are, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the real backstory I don't never say, because you know it's kind of like just let it die, but it's far more deeper than what I think people say. And it started with something so minute, because I was in the middle of it. I mean, like, you know, us as a group, I was at both sides, and how it started was so far from what people think it was. I think it just blossomed into something totally bigger than what it started out to be, and that's just how things are. But, you know, in that situation, we lost two great artists, two great rappers, two of the best MCs of all time. I mean, like, you know, over something so petty, but it is what it is, man. You know, now life goes on, and just let it just go what it is. You know what I'm saying? So,
So I want to talk about How Do You Want It, because I heard some interesting stories about that back in the day. That originally Pac was doing the hook, and then okay, all right. See, these are DJ rumors. So
Well, what happened was Johnny J originally did the track for Pac. He's a great producer, Johnny J, who did a lot of Pac stuff.
Oh yeah.
Pac had bought me the cassette tape to my hotel room. He had called me and said, man, I got this idea for a song. And he bought me the cassette tape. And you know how old that was, cassette tape. He bought me a cassette. So I had a cassette player. I had a cassette player in my hotel room. So he popped it in, and he was singing a hook. And I was like, man, that sounds dope. He said, nah, man. He said, what you think? I said, well, I mean, we can get on it. Y'all call Casey and Jodo, and we can get on it. You know what I'm saying? All right, man, yeah. So, you know, I arranged it. I think they were in North Carolina some other time. I was in LA. So we all met at the studio, and they ended up singing the hook. I just mixed it for them and added a couple breakdowns in the record, you know, put it all together for them. So that's just how that came about. But yeah, and he told me take my voice off. And I left his voice. If you listen to it really close, his voice is singing the bottom note of that song. How do you?
Oh, he's
feel?
in it. He's still
How do you feel? That's pop. Yeah, he's singing a real low note. So, and I blended him in with the harmony, but you know, he never knew. And I told him after those mixes, I said, your voice is still in there. And so yeah.
Right. Every time I talk to somebody that's dealt with Pop, they just say he just be spitting out lyrics on the fly.
He rewrote that song. The original. I was like, man, your voice, your verses are dope. He was like, nah, y'all ain't about to outshine me on my song. But I was like, you know, you sound dope, but I mean, I wish I would have kept.
Lost you a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Okay, no, it's all right. Oh, so he just went and redid the whole track.
He did his whole verses over. He recorded in like 15 minutes. He was done. He was done in like 15 minutes. But that's the way he used to work in the studio. Like he go in there and just spit them out.
Every time I talk to an artist that has something to do with him, it was always that story.
Yeah. And that's facts, bro. I've seen it for myself plenty of times.
That's incredible. So let's talk about your new stuff because you know, and I told you had some tracks. I mean, are you working on something? Because I'm gonna play whatever you tell me. Song you want me to play.
Well, I got this new song coming out on March 17th called "She Bad." We're shooting a video actually tomorrow. So, but I'm in the studio right now working on this other joint. I mean, I got some some nice little jewels coming, man. So, you know, so yeah, I just been, you know, staying busy until we get this Jodeci thing rolling. I'm gonna, you know, take on all of that, but you know, I want to stay active and stay busy, and it's fun. This is my second home being in the studio, and I'm just having a good time, just expressing myself as a solo artist, you know, until we come back together and do what we're gonna do, however that work out, you know. So it's cool. I'm having a good time.
Okay, well, when it's ready, you're gonna send me a copy. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put it on the radio, and then we're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and follow, you know, Dalvin, Mr. Dalvin, and you got a website too, Dalvin, or what you got? Anybody can get your music?
I'm gonna send you these songs, but yeah, my website will be up soon. I had one, I took it down, so I'm recreating it right now. So yeah, just follow me on all social medias. Mr. Dalvin on Instagram, Mr. Dalvin at Twitter, and Dalvin the Great on Facebook if you still have Facebook or whatever, man. You know.
Okay. Now I really appreciate you, man.
Hey man, thank you. Appreciate you.
It's been an honor. God bless, and good luck in the future, man.
Thank you, man. We'll be in touch, man.
Oh, that's right. All right, Dal.
All right.
Yeah.